Listen, bro, eye contact. Not having Peeb, being Peebless, actually made me a better Zani player, boys. I am an elite level Zani player now. I had to get in there and get sweaty and iron that shit out. We had to get real meticulous. Swap back with another swap back, bro. Welcome back to another video by yours truly, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Smack's Zani guide, which if you haven't seen any of my other wuwa guides, they're a bit more unconventional than the typical format you're probably used to viewing. That said, after you're done watching this video, you're going to be walking away like, damn, Smack was cooking in there. I learned a thing or two. Thank you, buddy. All jokes aside, though, I know you guys have been wanting the question answered. Smack, do we need Phoebe? How does she perform without that Phoebe? And what are your thoughts on her? Listen, it's a bit of a tricky question, and I want to make sure I give you a good answer. The answer is, if you're not down to get sweaty with her, with Spectro Rover, meaning like swap back, and all that stuff I was saying, I think you're not going to like her. I do. I think you're going to find her underwhelming because she is kind of like cutting it close in terms of a good clear time, a proper clear time in the TOA on the left and right sides where she doesn't have that broken buff when you're just playing her surface level, which means you're not really being meticulous. You're just kind of like going with the flow. But below surface level is a whole different ball game. I got a sub 1 minute clear time. In fact, 57 seconds damn near with a no-hit run. But see, that's the thing I'm talking about. Like, I didn't get hit once. All my rotations was on point. 57-second clear against the Inferno Rider. And so the potential and the performance is there, provided you know what you're doing. And that's what this video is going to be for. It's going to be teaching you guys what you're going to have to do in order to bring that performance out of her without the Phoebe. And that is pretty much my goal, of course, alongside teaching you how to play her as a general rule of thumb as well. What I want you to do, first, watch this cinema showcase. It's a really good one that showcases just how much you got to do to like pop off with her. And then we're going to, on the back end, show you how to build her, how to play her, and all that jazz. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so one of the most difficult things about Zani's kit is managing her Forte circuit, which you'll notice at the beginning of this showcase. As soon as we started, I frame one, switched over to Zani, and immediately casted her shield ability. The best way to go about it is shield, which is E, into a basic attack. Those two buttons alone will fill up half of her redundant energy Forte circuit. And that's important because the next time I swap Zani in, which will be when she intros in, it fills up the remaining half of that redundant energy meter, which allows me to go straight in to her new E, which is going to be the Claymore sword ability. It's important because as she intros in, when she finishes this, what's going to happen is that meter gets filled up all the way now. And that was thanks to us doing that E into a basic attack at the very beginning of the fight to get to the halfway portion. So quick swapping with Zani most certainly is a bit of a necessity. Once again, when you're not playing Peeb, bro. Peeb is probably a lot more comfortable, guys. All right, I'll be honest. It's probably a lot more comfortable without the Peeb. I mean, with Peeb. But without her, you got to do a bit more extra steps to ensure that things are, lining up correctly. Why is that? Because when you cast this ability, it also gives her more blaze as well, right? More blaze enables a better ult rotation to where you're able to do 2 full combos before her ultimate expires. And so that really like goes hand in hand. Anyways, once she intros in, if this is already up, you absolutely want to cast that ability like frame 1, right? Because frame 1 is going to give you that, once again, that sunburst activation. It's also going to give the 10 blaze energy, and then you're able to go straight into your ultimate, right? So boom. Now, what's crazy is a bit of a misplay there. And by a bit of a misplay, what I mean is once you get that redundant energy meter up and you cast the Claymore skill, you actually reset your other skills cooldown, right? So see, it's off cooldown. As soon as I'm done there casting that, I could shield again and then pop ult. But I mean, you know, you don't have to do that. I just like pointing out little things that you can take extra layers to. But yeah, as soon as you're done that, you can now go into her ultimate. Now this is very important right here, guys, because them cheeks look nice. No, I'm just kidding. The reason this is very important is because right here, when you cast this ultimate, you do have a bit of a controlled experience over a counterattack right here, a potential counterattack. Now, of course, you kind of got to read the flow of the fight in order to pull that off. But often at times, the counterattack might not be there, and it might not be there for the next 3 seconds, right? Sometimes you need to wait and be patient. But right here, the counterattack is just not there. So what do? Button mash. Straight up, you have the green light to button mash right here, because button mash actually, what's cool about her ultimate is when you first pop it, her first attack actually counts as a skill cast. That's why it's okay to button mash, because the skill cast inside of her ult is the most important element of her ult. We'll talk about that later, but now if the counter isn't there, just basic attack button mash, and I'll tell you when to stop button mashing. So right, we button mash, boom, 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 right there. As soon as she comes down from that final hit, which I believe is the light smash, that's when you need to stop button mashing, okay? Because what you'll notice, once again, Peebless players, is I am literally 10 blaze away from hitting this marker. You see this black marker on her Forte circuit? That marker is the threshold of once you get to that marker, you can no longer use her heavy attacks. Right now with Spectro Rover and the rotation that I just showed you, it leaves me with just enough energy to stay above that marker. If you button mash, you scuff the entire rotation and she loses access to her heavy attacks and she starts doing regular ass attacks. We don't want that. So right here, it's important that you do one of two things. You press the skill, right? The skill, Claymore, because when she's inside of her ult, she only pops the Claymore skill. You press the skill and then button mash, or you be patient and you counter. Be like water, my friend, which is what I do. And sometimes it requires you just sitting there and letting DPS go by, and that's okay, because that counter sets you up for a much bigger damage multiplier, which is nice. So what we do is we wait, into that counter, right? I want to go back there and make sure you see that whole sequence one more time. So we button mash here because the counter wasn't there, right? Boom, 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 boom. We wait just a little bit, and then we counter, right? That counter allows you to do a 2-piece KFC chicken nugget right here. Bam, bam, right? That's what the counter does, on top of an extra tick there too, right? See, that's boom, 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 boom. That's the counter. The counter is very lovely. So the cool thing about this is it actually allows you to kind of cheat the rule of her own Forte circuit, which says if you drop below 30, you can't cast heavy attacks anymore. That's actually not true when you go into the skill first. If you land a parry right there, she does the 2-piece KFC chicken nugget, and you're still able to cast the heavy attacks, even though you've dropped below the 30 required criteria mark to where it says you lose heavy attacks. You'll notice I still do the heavy attack right here at the end there. And that's because I parried, or you can just cast the skill and still get away with it too. You'll see me do it on the second rotation, but that's the full rotation, right? Claymore skill into ultimate. Counter's not there, button mash until you get into the light smash. Wait for the opportunity to present itself to counter. One extra basic attack, or it's either 1 or 2 extra basic attacks. It doesn't really matter, honestly. She'll just finish the move automatically. And then the finisher, which is casting the ultimate one more time. Make sure if your Q's up, you're popping that too, so that it's constantly on cooldown. You never want to waste abilities. And there's one more little thing we always do here, right? So we popped our ult really fast. You don't even see it happen. I'm spamming skill, which is her shield. And I'm spamming that because why would I not activate the shield to get meter immediately, right? And then right after that, it's going straight into the Shorekeeper Cinema ult. That is a beautiful rotation with Zani, right? And now we've entered the second portion of playing with Zani, not only in this fight, but period. You can do this rotation on anybody. It's always going to work so long as you're doing the things I'm telling to you. So now that we've entered the Shorekeeper's intro skill, everything kind of like resets. This is like rotations start all over again. Generally, what you want to do right here is immediately start funneling the Spectro Rover, because we didn't even cover the first part. The first part, and I know, like I said, we're going to be rewinding a lot. The first part, y'all don't notice that what I'm doing as I'm building up Zani's meter, I'm also building up Shorekeeper's concerto meter, right? By getting these auto attacks off right here. I did perfect dodge right there, boom. And then I continue building up her Forte for that heavy attack because it's good. Everything about Shorekeeper goes down to just getting this fucking meter up as fast as possible, right? And we wait a little bit to pop our E and Q so that the buff lasts a little bit longer, right? So you'll notice we're back into Zani. I could have shield right here, and I probably should have. This was a grandpa, like, lack of quick swap, thinking. But I did pop the Q. But right here, you'll notice I immediately switch over to Spectro Rover right before this fucker attacks. This is the next important thing about playing Peebless Zani. Rover is kind of annoying filling up her Forte circuit. But if you time the monster's attacks, you can swap in Rover right as they're about to attack. Perfect dodge into an immediate Forte circuit fill, which is what I do all the time, right? I swap in Rover. He's about to come down with his motorcycle. I perfect dodge there, right? And then I immediately get the full. I did it so fast, you ain't even see the shit fill up. That's insane. Yeah, so I filled up the fucking Forte circuit from that perfect dodge, boom, boom. And then I immediately casted her skill. That's going to apply Spectro Frazzle up here. You'll see it. See that? 2 stacks immediately got applied right up there. That is a part of funneling Blaze into Zani. In fact, look, you'll see it's very tiny. It is. But there's a Blaze meter down there, and it filled up ever so slightly. That's the 2 stacks of Spectro Frazzle immediately converting into that Blaze meter, okay? That's important to establish. Now we're back over to Shorekeeper. Once again, it's a lot of quick swapping occurring here, boys. And that's what you're going to have to get acclimated with if you want to make the Peebless Zani work. So we're doing that. Her concerto meter is almost up, right? It's up. We're back in to this girl. Now, at this point, I do think I could have done a better job funneling Zani into that quick swap, but it felt so natural that I just didn't, right? I just go back into her. She comes in. This gives her a free Forte circuit meter fill up, and we immediately cast ult, right? Now, it is important to realize here, guys, sometimes casting that ult immediately might not be worth it, but it's worth it right here because of how I'm quick swapping. Let me explain to you. E6 or S6 or R6, whatever the fuck it is in Wuthering Waves, Spectro Rover gives a 10% Spectro Res shred when she casts her skill. But it's for a finite amount of time that I don't remember right now. And it might run out by the time you cast her ult. I don't think it did right here, but sometimes it's worth casting the enhanced skill just to refresh that 10% Spectro Res to get the extra damage on the ultimate burst. But we didn't do that, and that's completely fine. We ulted first, and then we enhanced skill. But once again, Spectro Rover right now is battery, giving a fuck ton of battery to my Zani, right? So watch this. I'm about to do the enhanced skill. It's coming off cooldown in 0.3 seconds. This is going to fill up even more. So enhanced skill, boom, 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 boom. See, and it filled up even more for her. Furthermore, I think we're coming in with Zani on the intro skill. Boom, right? And now, once again, because we were quick swapping her in with that shield ability right after her ult, our shit's already filled up. So now all we have to do is go straight into that Claymore skill to get the amplification, to get the 10 extra blaze. And now I want you to pay attention the second time around. Look at where my blaze is. It's not filled all the way up, is it? That's about what? Maybe 25% remaining to be all the way filled up. This is kind of the reality of being Peebless. It's so funny saying that out loud, but it is. This is the reality of being Peebless. This is pretty much the extent of what you're capable of with Spectro Rover. But you know what? As you saw, that's okay. It's all you really need, because I can do 2 full swings inside of her ult while only being at about 75% of her blaze meter. Now, if I had Spectro Rover and Peeb, oh, that would definitely be all the way up here and would enable a whole nother swing of a combo. It is what it is. The thing is, if you're able to get a 57-second clear time with this, clearly it suffices. Does it feel shitty that we can't get the optimized version of it? Absolutely, no doubt about it. But hey, I'm just here to show you how you can bring out the limits of this comp without having Peeb. So once again, we go straight into this. Boom, boom, button mash, right? He's about to attack. We wait a little bit, full counter, go into it one more time, and then into our ultimate, right? So 2 full swings into an ultimate, perma cast the skill into the cinema. Now we're immediately reprocking her ult, filling up her concerto even more. We quick swap over to her right when he's about to attack. I told you, that's literally how I do it. Every time that motherfucker about to attack, I go straight over to Spectro Rover for perfect dodge for easy Forte circuit fill up. Easy. You can do the same thing with Zani too. You can like switch over to Zani, perfect counter with her shield or Claymore while he does that and get more blaze that way. But it's more important on Rover because you need to get those Spectral Frazzle stacks filled back up here. So that, here's the thing. It's who's going to fill up the blaze meter faster between Zani and Peeb or Spectro Rover. It's Peeb or Spectro Rover. Zani's just too fucking slow at doing it, right? So it's always going to prioritize switching over to Spectro Rover. So perfect dodge, immediately fill up the fort. Dude, that's insane that I do it so fast. You don't even see this shit fill up. That's crazy. That's actually crazy, man. Anyways, you'll notice I do take the opportunity to quick swap in her for the shield proc. Boom, right? And then we go into Shorekeeper, quick swap again, filling up, and we're still perfect dodging. And this point, this is particular to the Inferno Rider fight. I wait till this goes straight into here, inside of there, for the perfect parry on the intro, right? So as soon as it goes in, I immediately switch over to Rover, perfect parry, into ult, into enhanced scale. And now we're back at 9 to 10 stacks up here. That's pretty much what you can expect with Spectro Rover. 9 to 10 stacks, that's about it. Even though you can get 60 of them, 9 to 10 stacks is pretty much what you can expect with Spectro Rover as a standalone, right? And then we're back into Zani, back into the Claymore skill ability again, back into the ult, just like clockwork. Now on this time, what's nice is he doesn't even get a chance to do anything because we just shatter the fuck out of his stuff. But I do things a bit different here. Because he's stunned, there's nothing to counter. I just pop my skill. And what y'all don't know about Zani is this skill has no fucking cooldown, which means every time you finish that first ultimate, always go into scale, always. Because if you have a full blaze meter, then you could do a 3rd round. And if you're going to do the 3rd round, you're going to be back at this scenario right here where you're just shy of dropping below 30 and losing access to your heavy attacks. So you have to cast skill to bypass that. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, guys, this is one of the most fucking complex characters of the game. So explaining all of this to where y'all understand it, it's not easy. It really isn't. It's a bit of a challenge. But that is the full rotation of Zani. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, Smack, do you think there's any errors in your game or any room for improvement? If I'm being completely honest with you, I think I could do a better job incorporating in, let me go ahead and do this real quick. I think I could do a better job incorporating in the breakthrough ability, which is this right here. As soon as I come down, you can quick swap this off. Oh, well, that's annoying. You have to literally be in battle. I hate when you have to be in battle. Jesus, that's annoying. So I was only quick swapping this right here, right? I was only quick swapping that where she would sit down in the chair. But you can actually, and I shit you not, you could do this, an extra step into the breakthrough. That shit fills your redundant meter all the way up, And you can quick swap it, right? So you can literally do that while doing the same shit I was mentioning. Problem is trying to squeeze it all in while staying like true to the rotation fluidity while avoiding damage. It's not easy, but I dare say it's the next step of mastering Zani's kit. That's why I said this bitch got some layers to her kit, man. I was showing you like probably a notch under the best possible way to play her, I would say. Now, how do the builds look like? Because I know y'all are wondering, well, what is this build? I got an insane Zani. Not that insane. Now, she's pretty insane. She really is. She's at 54.7% crit chance over 318.8 crit damage. However, keep in mind, her signature weapon has crit damage scaling. I'm also rocking a crit damage main stat. You normally can't get this kind of crit damage on a character. But the thing is, Zani, her Spectro set is kind of fucking broken because it gives you 20% crit rate increase, right? Every other set in the game ain't giving you no 20% crit rate increase or crit rate increase, period. But the Spectro set allows her to get 20%. So this 54 is actually 74.7. And then you put Shorekeeper on top of that, 12.5. We're sitting at about 87% crit chance on our Zani. So she's able to get away. Ideally, you want to have crit rate in one and then crit damage in the other. Zani's one of the special cases where she can get away with that. Now, the energy regen looks really fucking solid. That's where I feel I have a banger Zani, because not only was I able to get good stats here, I was still able to meet the energy regen requirements. I think you only need about 130 or 125, somewhere about around there. But obviously, the more the merrier, hell, the better. She does have 125 energy cost, so the more the better, I would say. These are my stats. Zani's one of those characters, even with her sig, double Spectro is actually still worth it, because her signature, unlike a lot of, I think 99% of the other ones in the game, I think somebody said Peeb has amplification in hers too. Holy power creep with her and Peeb's signature weapons, bro. Amplification is multiplicative. It's better than increase, but they don't have any additive damage bonuses on their signature weapon. Whereas somebody like Chang Li, if we look at her sig, oh, that's right, Spectro Rover's rocking her sig, right? If we look at her sig, it's giving you 14 times 4 additive damage bonus, to the point where you can get away with 1 attack percent main stat and then 1 Spectro. Zani doesn't have that, right, in her kit. And then in here, she doesn't get anything crazy. She gets a 12% Spectro damage bonus there. And I think that's literally about it in terms of additive. So she starves for double Spectro main stat damage bonus. That's how I play her. So double Spectro main stat, and then obviously in the substats, the perfect piece is the piece you're looking at right there. I one-tap this, by the way. Don't get mad. Chat, I know, Luck's insane. This is the perfect piece. This is the perfect substats you want to try and go for. Crit rate, crit damage, energy regen, heavy attack, attack percent. If you get that, banger. What's cope? Replace attack percent or energy regen. In fact, if I have overkill and energy regen, so an even more, I guess, ideal setup would be Resonance Liberation right here to get a little bit more damage out of her ultimate, because her ult is not considered anything. It's just her ultimate. Oh, and I actually misplayed. Yeah, this guy's actually supposed to be up here. So I 1,000,000,000% misplayed with my Zani setup. He's supposed to be up there because he gives an additional 12% heavy attack. So she gets another 12% additive damage bonus if he's in the main slot, which he wasn't because I'm a donkey. Now, my Zani is 10, 10, 10 here. She's only 5 on the sides, and she's got no copies. And then my Spectro Rover is 54 over 271 using Chang Li's signature weapon. The Spectro Rover's got the Spectro set. I went for DPS Rover. I did. DPS Rover fucking slaps. And then 10, 10, 7, 7, 1. This shit is useless. You only need the Forte circuit. And then, of course, S6. Finally, my Shorekeeper is at 11 or 255 crit damage, 235 right here. She's got her sig as well, and she's rocking nothing but a healing set. This is her stats if you want to take a gander at them. My Shorekeeper's not too crazy, but she's got all the necessary pieces. And then she's got level 10 on the intro skill. That's what does the most damage. It doesn't really matter over here, I'll be honest, unless you're trying to heal more. Now, her E1, I can easily see some fucking nerd out there thinking that the E1 makes any difference. The E1, I shit you not, is pure comfort. That's all it is. It extends how long her ultimate lasts, but her ultimate already lasts such a long time. If your rotations are on point like mine wasn't at Showcase, this literally does fuck all for you. It's really more so for comfort, like I said. But yeah, that's my Shorekeeper, and those are the builds. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and you're going to have to either take me for face value or go watch the VOD because I'm not putting it in this video. I played Zani with Rochia's weapon and I barely noticed the difference. If you're somebody who just so happens to have Rochia's weapon and you can't afford Zani Sig, this shit is a banger. Furthermore, that bitch looked good on her too. Look how good it looked on her. Ooh, saucy. Then I said, okay, let's take it to the next step, free to play level. Unfortunately, I don't have a free to play light or weapon in here. Holy HSR brain rot. I don't have a free to play weapon in here to show off. So I chose Xiong Li Yao's signature weapon. To be fair, it doesn't really do anything for Zani. Okay, I'm not gonna say it doesn't do anything. It does something, but it ain't nothing crazy for Zani in particular. If you get her battle pass, a gauntlet, it's pretty much almost the same in performance with Yao's weapon. Yao's weapon is gonna obviously edge it out because it's got a higher base attack, and Zani can take advantage of when using Resonance Liberation. The wielder gains 48% Resonance Liberation damage bonus for 8 seconds. Also, when you cast that second Resonance Liberation, if you use her scale, obviously, you can refresh this, and then her ult gets that benefit too. So it is a little bit like solid, but it ain't nothing compared to these two over here, guys. These two over here are insane because Zani's heavy attack, which is her Claymore combos, gets a 48% damage bonus from this shit. And this is just gonna outscale that ult by a mile. And then of course you have this, which is also strong. But all three of these options work, or the battle pass for Zani. And just to let you guys know, to sell this point home any further, this is now just to let y'all know how free to play friendly Zani is when you know what you're doing with her. I also did a team. This was literally the team I did. Again, chat can testify, or you can go and watch the VOD yourself. I did this team right here. I wasn't as good at Zani at the time, and I still got 3 stars on the right side of the TOA against the Inferno Rider. And this team is quite literally the definition of free to play friendly. I wasn't using Zani Sig either. I was using Xiong Li Yao's weapon. So this is the team that I ended up using, and I'm pretty sure I was using Moonlit free to play 5-star sword on her as well. So free to play friendly, she can still clear the hardest content in the game in the TOA. We have yet to try Whimpering Waste though. We haven't tried that shit yet. But this was a straight up free to play friendly team in every capacity possible. Everybody was using something that was free to play except Zani. She's using Xiong Li Yao's weapon, which again, ain't that crazy. That's gonna wrap up this video, boys. I hope I brought y'all some pretty good value. That was my Zani guide in terms of what her performance is like. Should you pull for her? Again, that's what this video was for. I can't really make that decision for you. Me personally, I love how she performs, and I think there's even more room for improvement. But yeah, peace, love, and happiness, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.